Hello and welcome to another Firearm Freedom YouTube live stream. I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope I'm in shot here. I can never figure this shot out with the iPhone. It's always a little bit tough until I start the actual live stream itself, but hopefully everything's in shot, lighting's looking good, audio sounds good, etc., etc. Guys, I hope everybody is doing well. I'm going to try to answer quite a few questions that I've been getting recently at the gun shop that I work at and from you guys. This live stream, if you haven't already seen the title, is going to be about braces and hunting ammo. Yes, two of the most talked about things in gun shops for the past few weeks. And I'm going to tell you guys why. But for the first little bit, as usual, I'm going to let everybody get in here. Thank you once again for tuning in this Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to hang out and have a little bit of a freedom chat. Guys, I hope you had a great holiday weekend / week last week for Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys had a chance to actually be thankful for some stuff and didn't have to run out and work retail on some Black Friday craziness or run out and go shopping and everything like that. Crazy, crazy times, and I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. KC, what is up? Rockford, what's going on, man? I am the great gunaholic. I need ammo for my gun hole. Okay, all right, so we'll let a couple more people get in here. Guys, if you're looking for a way to support the Firearm Freedom YouTube channel, you can check out the Firearm Freedom merchandise store, get awesome pieces of merchandise like this awesome Firearm Freedom hoodie. I am thinking about hopefully coming out soon with a hello and welcome line of clothing, which I think many of you guys would like, including possibly a Freedom Family line of clothing as well. So stay tuned for that. We got a lot of fun stuff in the works for the Firearm Freedom merch store, but anything you purchase from there directly goes into supporting what I do here on Firearm Freedom. And then on top of that, we also have the Subscribe Star account. And that Subscribe Star account is just simply a way for you guys to donate $1 or a couple bucks a month, again, in support of the channel. And then finally, the third way that you can support me here on Firearm Freedom is just by watching these videos. Watching them, liking the videos, interacting them as far as commenting down below and sharing them with your friends really, really helps me out, and it helps defeat YouTube's ridiculous, crazy algorithms that continue to go on here in the year of 2020. We also have some other awesome social media pages that you guys can follow me on. Those would be the Firearm Freedom Instagram, Twitter, Facebook account, and then we also just opened up a Parler account at Firearm Freedom. And if none of those are for you, but you really like either the video game chat style stuff, we do have a Firearm Freedom Discord server. Not related to video gaming, but with that being said, kind of the same layout format. A lot of people use Discords for gaming, but ours is just for some spicy, crazy freedom talk. So definitely get down in that description after this live stream. Check out some of those links. Hit that like button, subscribe, and so on. All right, I think 4 minutes is about enough, but we will see. Neil, what is up, man? From the UK, tuning in once again. What is up, Neil? Yeah, exactly, Tony. So, all right, I want to start touching on the first topic of tonight's live stream, which is going to be hunting ammo. Now, as always, how I roll my live streams, if you guys are new and watching this now, You can always ask questions all throughout the live stream. They don't necessarily have to be questions directed towards what we're talking about in this live stream. I always kind of run them now as like an open Q&A format. So if you guys have questions on something that I talked about in last week's live stream or something else, feel free to ask away, and I will always kind of keep a tab and hopefully answer everybody's questions as the live stream goes on. KC, overheard a guy asking for 5.56 ammo at the local gun shop. Employees said they didn't have any. I noticed they had plenty of hunting and competition rounds. Let the guy know, so he ended up buying that. Better than nothing. That's interesting, because that's going to be kind of the complete opposite of what I'm going to be talking about tonight in regards to hunting ammunition. So for those of you guys out there that are into hunting, you may have noticed that hunting ammunition has dried up pretty significantly at your local gun shops in your area over the past week to week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. A lot of people, depending on the state that you're in, here in Pennsylvania, hunting season is just starting to open up as far as for rifle hunting season. And a lot of people are gearing up, getting ready to go to their cabins, go to their yearly hunting spot, and they're coming down to gun shops and looking for a new box of their favorite 243 or their favorite 30-06 or their favorite 270 or their favorite 7mm 08 or whatever else. And unfortunately, they're coming to find out that after calling, there is nothing in stock. Why is there nothing in stock? Why can't they find any after calling 15 or 20 gun shops, at least in Pennsylvania, and where I would imagine it's going to start hitting people in other states as well, if it hasn't already? Why is this happening? That's the biggest question that I've been getting asked. And quite frankly, and this is no exaggeration, last week, in a time period of about 3 days, I received personally, just myself, at the gun shop that I worked at, probably about over 100 to 120 phone calls in 3 days' time, just in regards to asking about hunting ammunition and hunting calibers. Each and every one of those phone calls were met with, no, I don't have any, no, I don't know where you can find any. And each and every one of my other guys that I work with got about the same volume of calls. So that is why I wanted to talk about this. And the main reason, I'll cut right to it, that you are not seeing hunting ammunition out on the shelves is because what was out on the shelves for the past few months was it. This hunting ammunition was not coming in to retail gun shops around you, and what you saw on their shelves, whether it was 2 boxes of 30-06 or 2 boxes of 7mm 08 or a box of 243 or whatever else, was the only ammo that they had. And a lot of these shops that are now going to try to purchase this ammunition, it is not there. The ammunition, as far as hunting calibers, is gone. And the reason for this is because these major manufacturers are not making hunting ammunition at this point in time, nor are really any of them making hunting ammunition moving forward for the next year, possibly even longer. There have been rumblings right now in the industry, talking to reps, talking to different major ammunition manufacturers, and they are experiencing such shortages with this ammunition. Now, I don't have any verifiable, I spoke to CEO of such and such billion-dollar ammunition manufacturing company. This is just anecdotal, me hearing this, from other people, in the industry and from reps and everything like that. So with that being said, a lot of these ammunition manufacturers, the rumblings are that they only have a very, very limited amount of supplies. Mainly, those supplies are primers. And when they get a batch of primers in, they now have a decision to make. do we put, 1,000 of those limited amount of primers that we have as far as large rifle primers to 7mm 08, or do we put them towards 308 7.62 by 51 target ammunition or more military spec ammunition for other primers? Do we put them towards X, Y, or Z hunting caliber, or do we put them towards 223 and 5.56? These are all questions that are now being proposed to these ammunition manufacturing heads at these companies, and most of these companies have now killed their hunting ammunition line entirely for the year to utilize any and all supplies to produce for 308, for 223, 5.56, 9mm, and trying to get anything that they possibly can out to meet the demand that is being asked by the industry as a whole. And that is exactly what you're seeing. So I find it kind of ironic because a lot of these folks that are gearing up for their hunting season have consistently thought that none of this would affect them because they don't have a scary black rifle, or they just have their bolt gun, so they never have to worry about any sort of panic buying or any sort of gun control or anything like that. And ironically, it is hitting them pretty hard. Now, I know many of you guys might be saying like, oh, well, how many boxes of ammo do they need to go up hunting for a weekend? But a lot of these guys shot through all of their hunting ammo last season and are looking for something to A, get a deer with, or B, sight in their hunting rifle, and we have nothing. Not only do we have nothing, but it's not just 0 goose eggs in the 1 caliber they're looking for. It is 0 goose eggs in all 3 of the potential hunting rifle options that they have on hand. There is no 30-30. There is no 7mm 08. There is no 243. There is no 270. There is no 30-06. All of these very, very common hunting calibers, especially in Pennsylvania, are gone. Now, I have no evidence flowing in really, and maybe some of you guys can chime in the comment section, or already are chiming in the comment section, on whether or not you're experiencing somewhat of the same thing in your state. I would imagine I'm seeing this so prevalent right now in Pennsylvania because this is now the introduction to our rifle hunting season. And obviously, depending on seasons and how your hunting is laid out in your state, you may not necessarily be seeing this as of right now, but I would almost guarantee you're probably going to be seeing this very, very soon. A lot of people were walking into gun shops for the past few months and seeing their favorite hunting caliber on the wall and not really caring that much, assuming that all of this panic buying, everything else like that, would not affect their hunting caliber. When in reality, what they didn't realize is that small amount of hunting ammunition they saw on the shelf was not a consistent supply that was selling out and getting more in. That was it. And once that was bought, there is nothing else coming in, and there's nothing else available, and there's not going to be a lot available for a very long time. So again, my advice to you, if you have not seen this affect you in your hometown yet, it absolutely will. These major distribution centers do not have this ammunition as far as production of it at all. The availability is 0. They have now had to make these decisions of which lines do we kill. And quite frankly, when they have a year of a back order going on for 223 and 5.56 and 308 and 9mm and all of these other common defensive calibers, they are going to put everything towards those. And I would imagine the least, thing of concern on their mind is going to be the small hunting calibers for this year because they have nowhere near the same amount of backlog for those calibers as they do the common defensive calibers. So I wanted to kind of shed some light on that. I'm sure many of you guys would probably already guess that is the situation that's going on. But I mean, I am getting so many phone calls every single day. What's going on with the hunting ammo? Why can't I find this hunting ammo? I've called 15 shops. I can't find this hunting ammo. And I just wanted to shed some light to you guys. Maybe you could spread it around with your friends or whatever else, because this is exactly what I've been saying to customers calling in and asking this very question for the past roughly week. And it's been getting progressively more intense as the week goes on and as the ammunition starts getting harder and harder to find here, because obviously it's getting bought out. So let me know what you guys think. Is it affecting you in your city? I'm going to read through some of your comments now, because I'm sure you have probably mentioned it already. Sorry, guys. Reading through. Doc, wondering about your opinion on 80% lowers and frames from two perspectives. Too late for basic rifle or pistol builds, question 1. Question 2, option for continuing to use firearms if we ever have to turn in the original serialized lower frame for compliance. So for the first part of your question, is it too late for a basic rifle or pistol build? For a rifle build, it all depends. There are still some complete uppers out there and available, that you could potentially get. As far as for a pistol, there are also still some, Glock build kits and SIG build kits out there available. So is it absolutely too late to build an 80% lower? I would say no. However, this is going to quickly go into answering your second question, which is a question that I get quite a bit about 80% lowers, which is this a viable option moving forward on a totally, how should we say, off the record firearms purchase, right? We're not doing anything illegal here. It's just simply not on any form of government paperwork, right? You're not filling out a 4473. It is essentially the same as you doing something like a private party sale or just simply manufacturing your own firearm, which is exactly what you're doing and is exactly perfectly legal as of now. The one thing that I will say is that in order for your 80% build to be completely and totally built by you privately off any sort of record-keeping system or anything like that, you would need to pay cash for each and every part that you're buying for that gun. The moment that you're swiping your credit card for an 80% on some website, some firearms distribution website, whatever else, call me a tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist, whatever, but I would say at that point, it's kind of the same deal as you buying a gun from a gun shop. Now, is it to that extreme because you're not filling out a 4473? No, not necessarily, but you guys could probably assume what I'm saying. Now, obviously, you could buy, an 80% online with a Visa gift card or something like that, which again is still not breaking any laws or anything like that. You can absolutely legally build your own firearm, and that is perfectly legal within the United States. But hopefully that answers your second question, where if your main concern is privacy, then swiping your credit card or posting photos of your 80% build online are probably not the wisest choice and the wisest thing to do. Okay, moving down the list. Doc, all the 12 gauge slugs are even gone. I have been seeing that as well. Tony, my coworker mentioned there's rumors going on. The ammo shortages may go back to normal in mid to next July. It sounds a little doubtful. Tony, I have not heard any of those rumors. I've heard the absolute opposite. So, I don't think that is accurate. Rockford, $1 billion in back order and 1 year behind is what I heard. You heard correct, and that is relatively accurate. Sean, yeah, you always buy 5 boxes of hunting ammo, so you always have enough for 2 years. I only use Nosler Partition, Accubon, Ballistic Tip, and E-Tip. I use 308. My go-to is 165 grain. Absolutely, Sean, it's a good idea, just like any other defensive ammo. Sorry, guys, got something in my eye. To stock up a relatively good amount for a while, but unfortunately, These people do not do that, and I don't understand why. KC, yeah, there is no way to predict of what will happen. It's like the stock market. There is no way of truly knowing what will transpire. Absolutely. Tony, it's the same here in Arkansas. Yep. In Northern California, hunting ammo is available at almost every shop, more so than anything else. I'm sure this will dry up soon. What you're saying about manufacturing, though. I live in a fortunate area, small population with big box stores, very pro to a conservative county. We voted for Trump in my county here in California. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. I'm sure many of you guys won't know what this is like, but I have all this photography lighting pointing at me, and if you see me like squinting or my eyes starting to flicker or look like I'm crying or something like that anytime, it's because these massive LED lights are just like shining right in my eyeball. Sometimes I can't like really angle them properly so that the lighting doesn't look good, and you just got to sacrifice a little bit of tears for good lighting here on these YouTube live streams. There is ammo nowhere near me or in DMV area. This is why in March I picked up 3 boxes of Nosler. So that would be a prime indication as well that, again, this is affecting other areas. What is up, Tim? Good to see you, man. Sam, hello and welcome. 80s Warrior, great channel. What you say about Shockwave, it's awesome. Just got it, and I can't stop blasting everything. That is awesome, man. Okay, all right. So I want to go back and answer, because I think I got everybody's question there, but there was one question from Nick that I did not answer, and let's go there now. Nick, what's your prediction? Will brace possession be outlawed like bump stocks, or will they be grandfathered and no longer sold? So, Nick, I would say personally that very soon, and this is going to be getting into our second topic, which is going to be braces moving forward. I would say personally that nothing is going on right this very second as far as the legality of braces today, right? So, in other words, your pistol in your safe right now is not illegal as of today. Could it be illegal as of tomorrow? Yes, absolutely. What could be illegal about it? The ATF could absolutely change their mind overnight, and you could wake up tomorrow and hear that actually all pistol braces are now not pistol braces but stocks, and causing your pistol to be actually a short-barreled rifle with that attachment on it without filing the proper paperwork with the ATF. Why do I make that comment about today? It's because a lot of other YouTubers out there have made videos like pistols are now banned or braces are now banned. And although I understand why they're doing it, because they're probably trying to direct traffic towards their account because it's a big clickbaity title and people are really nervous and they're clicking on it. And mind you, they should be very nervous. This is something to be nervous about. But my gripe with that is that that's not entirely accurate information, because technically speaking, these items are not illegal as of right now today. Are they moving forward and pushing to make them illegal? Yes, absolutely. That's a truthful statement. But saying that these items are banned as of right now frustrates me, because it creates a bunch of misinformation and has a hard time for actually giving people out there the right information, and that right information is going to allow them a better way to combat it versus just not getting any of the right stuff at all. There was a couple of new letters that surfaced more recently from Ammo Land, and those letters showed that the back in 2018 apparently the ATF saw or sent a letter to SB Tactical saying that only 2 of their braces were actually approved, ATF approved braces, and all 23 or 24 other braces were actually not approved by the ATF. That AmmoLand letter surfaced, and basically AmmoLand was saying, hey, if you have any of these braces, the SBA3 and the SBA4 were on that list. They are actually not approved by the ATF, and furthermore, the ATF has actually deemed those stocks and are only used as stocks, and basically saying that if you have put those on your rifles, it is a stock and you have now manufactured a short-barreled rifle. From there was also another situation that surfaced more recently where prosecutors in a criminal case where an individual used a Mossberg, I believe it was a Mossberg, could have been a Remington, firearm or shockwave with an SBA3 stabilizing brace on it, and prosecutors requested the ATF take a look at the brace to see whether or not this actually was a short-barreled shotgun and also not a firearm because of the addition of the brace. ATF wrote back a letter saying, yes, this is actually a short-barreled shotgun, and it is an NFA item. This individual now has another charge of illegally manufacturing and using a short-barreled shotgun, non-registered short-barreled shotgun, and they also went into a little bit more detail, which was a little odd, about SB Tactical, its history, and how a lot of their braces are actually not approved. What does all this mean in a nutshell? So a lot of people, were making videos about this saying, hey, that means that these items are banned as of right now. I don't necessarily agree with that for one sole reason, and why it doesn't make much sense. Mind you, I believe AmmoLand actually has also taken down that article, and something about that article just seemed a little bit fishy to me. Something seemed a little odd. And what seemed odd to me was that it was stated that that letter was sent by the ATF all the way back in 2018. So we're looking almost like 3 years ago now, 2 to 3 years ago. And what seems the most odd to me about that is, if that were the case, if SB Tactical actually received that letter back in 2018, which was, for lack of a better words, basically a cease and desist letter for the most part, saying, hey, none of these braces are approved. You're currently aiding people in manufacturing short-barreled rifles. I find it very hard to believe that the ATF would have done absolutely nothing moving forward, and still continuing to do nothing in regards to specific SB Tactical braces, and them selling hundreds of thousands of these braces out there on the market today. Not only is SB Tactical selling these braces, but you have major mega million-dollar firearms manufacturers like Ruger, like Springfield, like Smith & Wesson, and all of these other companies that are also using SB Tactical products to sell on their firearms. So I find it, once again, odd that the ATF would just continually, blatantly allow that, and allow people to make them, and allow people to make videos here on YouTube about these braces, and allow people to post photos with these braces, and nobody has gotten into an issue with the ATF. Now, I don't want you guys to take that comment as me not taking this as a very serious thing moving forward with the ATF, or me taking this in the light that the ATF is not going to ban pistol braces, because I very much think that they are going to ban pistol braces in our very near future. My point in saying this is that you need to watch out with exactly what information that you're seeing out there, and you need to question it, because all of this information does not exactly say that these items are banned as of right now. Now, especially talking about the criminal case with the SBS, alleged SBS, that they now deemed an SBS, I think the most concerning thing about all of this situation, and really what you should be paying attention to out of that letter to SB Tactical and out of that letter to those prosecutors, is the fact that, in a nutshell, what the ATF is saying is that you may or may not be legal with your pistol. The pistol that you have in your collection right now may or may not be legal. And quite frankly, if you use that in a crime, if you use that not in a crime, but in a defensive situation, you very likely could be going to jail for manufacturing an illegal SBR. If for whatever reason they wanted to raid your house and they found 6 or 7 pistols, they could very easily deem those said pistols right now as illegal SBRs. And this is all thanks to banning bump stocks. This is all thanks to their arbitrary ability to arbitrarily deem these items as such, deem a totally stupid accessory as a machine gun, right? We all knew it was a totally stupid accessory, but the problem is that once they were able to arbitrarily deem that accessory a machine gun, why people like myself were screaming from the rooftops that they cannot do this, that it will open the floodgates, that it doesn't matter that it's a stupid accessory. We need to hold on to this accessory. It doesn't matter that nobody uses it. It does not matter, because since they were able to arbitrarily do that, they are now going to go after pistol braces. And mark my words, I could very easily see them in the near future. And I made this argument on Instagram live streams about arbitrary bullshit little classifications, that they could very easily make this in the future about rate of fire, and they could very easily make it so that pretty much any semi-automatic firearm now falls under this arbitrary rate of fire, and in of itself is a machine gun, and banned under the current NFA restrictions pre-1986, etc. So be on the lookout for that and be ready for that moving forward. Sorry guys, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, so I really want to catch up on everything here. Tony, my store has a large stock of Tula Steelcase 308. So far, nobody is buying it. Depends on the price that it's at. KC, oh my God, I have unsubscribed from YouTubers making those clickbait titles. Seriously, can't stand that garbage. It's very unfortunate, because all it does is misdirects everything, because everybody just gets incredibly confused. And all you're trying to do, just like companies out there that are jacking up their prices on stuff, is you're trying to basically, in effect, profit off of everyone's panic. Sean, my brother-in-law is an FBI field agent. He told me 10 years ago, nothing is illegal until you get caught. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that would be the case anywhere as well. Tony, yep, AmmoLand pulled the article. Okay, Doc, what's the balance between panic buying and complacent attitude of, I've been through this before, it'll be fine, ammo is coming back soon? Doc, that's an incredible question. What is the difference between panic buying and just being complacent, saying, I know what's coming, we are just fine? Well, I think the difference is with panic buying, that is somebody who waited until the very, very last second to buy these items. So they waited until they have nothing. They are now looking at buying their first gun, and they are just going out tomorrow, last week, whatever, to buy their first gun. And I think that the opposite end of that spectrum is somebody saying, hey, look, I've bought everything, I've needed to buy, I'm well stocked, I'm good to go. I think a happy medium in between that is, even if you are well stocked, it's a good idea to continually buy, this stuff at a reasonable volume. What do I mean by reasonable volume? I mean not going into a gun shop, clearing their entire wall, and hoarding it all, not having any plans of using it, because that sucks as well. That's really hurts everybody else on top of that. But just, going into a gun shop, buying one magazine a week, buying a couple mags a week, buying a couple boxes of ammo, whatever else, is probably a good thing to do. Hopefully that answered your question just a little bit. Okay. Sean, I think SP Tactical has sold 400,000 braces this year alone. In total, they said 3 million braces in total from all brace manufacturers. Yeah, and that would be, again, to my point that it just seems a little odd that if that was the case in 2018, they would have allowed them to continue manufacturing these items with absolutely no repercussions. I just, again, that struck me as odd. KC, do you think the manufacturers and distributors are seeking out the highest ceiling, sorry, trying to read your question, highest ceiling for prices on ammo? 9mm could potentially reach a $3 a round for FMJ. Where do you think the ceiling is on prices? Man, that's a good question as well. I don't know. I really don't know. I think in our near future, we could easily see 9mm reaching $1 to $1.50 a round at some retailers. Now, is that just them jacking up the price, or is it distribution? That I don't know. I can tell you distribution, especially in the way of Winchester, has raised their cost on ammunition significantly. But with that being said, even the significant raise in cost on ammunition is only like 60 cents a round or 70 cents a round, if I'm not mistaken, for cost. So, I couldn't necessarily tell you what that ceiling is because I don't think we're anywhere near it right now. So I don't know. I think we will see. But so I think moving forward with braces entirely. Mind you, I want to have a side note here. I really, really hope I don't see everybody panic buying braces just for the sheer stupidity of that. Why do I think that's stupid? Because if you are panic buying a brace out of fear that they're going to ban said brace, and they do ban said brace, at that point, effectively, you would be much better off just putting a stock on that firearm rather than putting a brace on it, because the ATF is now viewing them one and the same. So why would you continue to use this, crappy accessory that is not designed as a stock, is never supposed to be a stock, but now the ATF deems it a stock? Why would you continue to use that, quote unquote, illegally in this hypothetical situation and not just slap a stock on it at that point? So that would be a really just major F in the chat, because I don't know why people would be panic buying those braces. But I have seen many people shift in the way of saying, I don't know if I really want to buy this brace as of right now because I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I have seen that a ton in gun shops. And I've also seen a lot of people say, how can you still sell that? That is illegal. And that I blame on these videos, that are misdirecting the real situation here and making people not really understand the reality of what is going on and what is not going on as of this very second today. Can the ATF get rid of braces? Yes. Yes, they can. They absolutely can. And that is, I think, in a nutshell, shows you how much unconstitutional power this agency has as a whole and always has had for our entire, actually for really the agency's entire existence. So I think that is very important to note. And I really don't know what is going to happen from that. I couldn't tell you. It is very unfortunate. And we will see what ends up happening, because there is a much larger population out there that owns these pistol braces than bump stocks. But I can tell you right now that seeing, the mindset of people coming into shops, nowadays, and the more modern mindset of gun owners moving forward, they have this immediate sense of compliance. And that's what is, I think, the most frightening to me about new gun owners in 2020. People have bought in these pistols and these items are not even illegal as of yet. and they will still call saying, hey, how do I turn this in? I heard it was illegal. Or how do I make this not illegal? Or, hey, is this banned? Do I have to turn this in now? I mean, just immediately saying, where do I go to comply? And I think that is a very troubling thing to see as a gun shop employee moving forward and as a gun owner moving forward. It is very, very, very unfortunate. So I don't know, guys. We will see moving forward what that is going to turn out like. I think we're going to see a very quick change in whatever direction that is going right after whoever gets sworn into office. I think we are going to see a very deliberate and immediate change with the ATF, with pistol braces, with rate of fire, arbitrary things and everything like that. I think we're going to see a big change in that moving forward almost immediately after somebody gets sworn in. So if you wanted to ask me the timeline of when I think that's going to happen, that would be the timeline. That would be what I would assume. Tony, ammo will come back, but it's not going to be anytime soon for the moment. Yes, I would absolutely agree. Neil, pistol braces, could that be the thin edge of the wedge? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you mean. KC, did anything even happen for the ATF to go after braces? They might go after standard capacity magazines, pistol grips, etc. For the ATF to go after braces, no, nothing happened. There has been nothing that has happened that has caused them to go after this. I think, quite frankly, this is the ATF reaching for anything that they possibly can to easily regulate out of existence without having to legislatively pass gun control. And I think this is exactly what we're seeing. I think you're going to see the ATF behind closed doors by the swipe of a pen quickly change our lives when it comes to the Second Amendment and when it comes to firearms as a whole. And they are going to do that without any sort of a legislative process whatsoever, which in my opinion is one of the most unconstitutional things I've ever seen. Speaking about one of the most unconstitutional things I've ever seen, one has to ask how far we have gone in our country from where we once were in regards to the Second Amendment, that at this point in our lives, we are here on social media arguing about a piece of plastic. Literally a piece of plastic, not even a firearm at this point, but an accessory to that firearm. A piece of plastic being attached to that firearm. Mind you, the firearm is still the same. The firearm, the lethality of the firearm does not change, but we are so far down this unconstitutional crapshoot that we are now having to sit here on social media arguing with the government if we could please just keep this one piece of plastic on our gun to not pay an unconstitutional $200 tax stamp to the federal government. That, mind you, once you pay that $200 tax stamp, that gun is no longer dangerous. You're good to go to keep it because you've paid your fines, right? You've paid the tax. All because of this one piece of plastic. But the other piece of plastic is apparently okay right now. And if you have no piece of plastic, then the gun is absolutely okay and totally safe, and there's no issues with it whatsoever. I mean, that is the thought process at this point in time with overarching tyrannical governments that currently rule over us right now. Now, with that being said, I love showing everyday people who are not gun people exactly what I'm talking about. I love bringing them to the range, showing them the difference, and showing them the mindset of the ATF when it comes to these ridiculous laws that we currently live under as to what is okay, what is not okay, and the choices that we now have to make as citizens, because many of these people just do not understand. They don't understand the sheer gravity of the situation that we as gun owners that own these firearms face today. They don't understand that the decision doesn't just come down to, well, if you don't comply, you'll get a ticket, or if you don't comply, you'll get a slap on the wrist. You have a decision to make where you can either try to be a law-abiding citizen and just get neutered even more as a society in this way, or you can decide to keep what you have, and that route of non-compliance is not just a slap on the wrist, it is 10 years in federal prison for each and every item that you may or may not get caught with. And mind you, you're not going to be going to the range, practicing with them, whatever else like that, down that route, which is even more of a kick to the gut to you. And that is the decision that you are faced with. There is no middle of the road. There is no, whatever other option you can think of. And many everyday people just do not understand this. They don't understand the gravity of the situation. They want to continue to vote for common sense gun control. And this is what screws us out, because most of these people have just complete and total ignorance to the situation. Just complete and total ignorance. They do not understand. They don't understand the gravity of the situation. They view it as a fun little win that they can talk about on social media, but they don't understand that they're making millions of people into felons overnight, and they don't understand the gravity of that situation of being a felon overnight. It is not quite as simple as them saying like, oh, he's a felon, no big deal, whatever else. You now have to live a different and just a totally completely different life thanks to this asshole that is going to push through this ridiculous stuff. I'm not trying to get as heated as I do on Instagram here on YouTube, but that is very tough for me when I'm talking about things like braces and mindset of the ATF, because quite frankly, I cannot stand it. Because it is all just complete and total ignorance by people that don't know anything in regards to firearms. Okay. Neil, the ATF basically using that as an excuse to remove all the weapons you own. Basically, yes, absolutely. Tim, I don't know how you don't have a ton more subs, brother. Great channel and definitely down to earth, no BS. Tim, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, man. KC, thank you as well. Harry, it's all about the money. Not kidding. Harry, you're absolutely right. It is literally all about the money. Sean, one of my best friends, she is like my sister, was hardcore liberal. I've taken her to the range 3 times and she loves it. She is slowly changing her thinking because she has been lied to by mainstream media. Yes, absolutely. And that is exactly what we need to do at a ground roots cultural level. You have to change it from a ground roots cultural level, or else nothing is going to change. I think it's about the ATF needing to stay relevant enough to maintain funding. If they sit on their hands, they won't get funding. They make up this nonsense to appear proactive. Personally, I don't think they should receive any funding. But that could be another example of them trying to just come out of the woodwork saying, hey, we're going to do this because we're actually doing something. Sean, she actually bought a Glock 43X and a BCM 11.5-inch pistol with an SBA 3 4 months ago. Hey, you can't beat that at all. I've never seen this dude so fired up. I am not trying to get... well, I'll tell you what. If you ever want to see me super fired up, you can head over to the Instagram channel because we get super heated. But it's just frustrating, guys. It's very frustrating, and I wish more people got frustrated about it. I wish more people got frustrated about it. Because on top of that, I don't think people fully grasp the world of non-compliance, and I'm going to skim over this just a little bit. Now, it is no secret that obviously many people would switch to that mindset of just zero compliance, just total and complete non-compliance. There's nothing wrong with that. I totally understand that. But I think many people assume non-compliance, I'm going to live out the rest of my life not complying, good to go. The situation, screw it, I don't care anymore, I'm not going to comply. But I don't think people truly understand how much of a loss it is moving forward for one factor that I think many people forget, And that factor is immediately and completely individualizing each and every one of you and making that immediately taboo. Making it to a point, and yes, we're just talking about pistols right now, but you could argue this with an overarching, assault weapons ban or something like that. But they make it so that now, instead of you being able to unify with each other, talk about each other, take your friends to the range with these items, show them, that normal people can own these items, can go to the range, they can use them in defense of themselves, defense against tyranny, and they can use these items. Now, in effect, what you do is you immediately turn it to taboo. Now, the moment that you're talking about it, the moment that you're talking about what you own, if you're talking about with your buddies or whatever, you're talking about it behind closed doors. Now, what you are talking about doing sounds to the same like a normal everyday person 5 years down the road, like you're talking about drug dealing today, right? Like you're talking about, X, Y, or Z drugs that you have, but hypothetically, if I had those and you can't really go to the range with them, but if you want to come over to my house, I can show you what I have, and you don't trust anybody, and it's not going to the range anymore, it's not training anymore. Social media as we know it changes because I cannot make these videos. I can't come on social media and do a review about X, Y, or Z item to show the public what these guns are actually capable of, what they are not. Life as we know it changes, and it goes further down the road of losing. And we have to try as hard as we can to fight as hard as we can before we get to that point. Because once it gets to the point of just complete and total non-compliance, again, I say again, it individualizes each and every one of us, and it makes it far easier for them to pick off everybody one by one by one by one by one. It might take a few decades, but it's far easier to pick everybody off one by one and do it after the unification that could potentially happen with everybody is gone, right? Is gone. Because the moment that you go to non-compliance only, and that's your only way of fighting it, and that non-compliance looks like just keeping all your stuff and hiding it, right? Keeping all your stuff and hiding it away and whatever else. And mind you, if your thought process of like, I'm not going to hide it, is posting it on social media, that's not going to do anybody any good either, because you're just going to get your shit raided. And again, now there's no unification. It's just you against them, and it's just you against them. And that is the big problem moving forward. And that is what I want to try to educate you guys into understanding and get those gears turning to figure out a solution that is not just that. Because I'm telling you guys, I know this from experience. I lived in upstate New York my entire life. I know fully, I have seen fully with my own eyes what that life of non-compliance looks like. And I can tell you that although it might lead to you holding on to your items, it does not lead to actually solving the much larger solution of tyrannical bullshit overall. And that's the big problem, right? Because look at New York right now. There are many people in New York, many true patriots in New York, living a true patriotic lifestyle that many people have absolutely no idea about. And they are still dealing with some of the most tyrannical laws in existence of our country as a whole. Nothing is changing. And that is the difference. And we have to try to fight and not get to that point where the only option left is just saying, I'm not going to comply. We've kind of lost. I'm going to hide all my shit in the basement, and I'm just not going to comply. I understand that thought process. I understand that most people would go that route, obviously, because who's going to go the other route of handing all your shit in? Obviously, nobody. But the reality of it is that once they've got us to that point, they have won at a much larger scale than I think many people truly understand, and that is that is the difference, and that is why I hate seeing people just drop a meme on like, I don't care anyways because I'm just not going to comply. If we let it get to that point, we've lost much more than you think we've lost. So please, guys, Share this. Don't even worry about sharing this video. Just share that information around to people, and hopefully people will start to wake up and start to think of a better solution to fight this tyranny than just that. Because if that's the only solution left, we got a much bigger problem on our hands. So, and one could argue that we have a big problem right now. So, I take that for what you will. I hope any of that was coherent. I try not to rant and get super enraged about stuff here on YouTube, just because I try to keep it a little bit more down to earth. But I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from when I tell you guys stuff like that. I truly, personally believe that every single law that is on the books right now, every single form of paperwork that we have to fill out right now, and every firearms restriction that is out there right now is unconstitutional and should not exist. I know that might seem radical to some people, and I'm sure one could argue that, but I don't really care. That is my true belief, and that is the belief of this channel that you're watching right now, which is Firearm Freedom. So, I don't know. I'm going to try to catch up on some of your comments here, and let's see what we got. Oh, for sure, the ATF needs to be dissolved. The largest thing they did was burn down the Waco compound. Yes, and many other unconstitutional things. Tim, so true, man. They don't understand what they're taking from us and themselves. Yes. Sean, if you want to see me super fired up, put a red velvet cake in front of me with 4 other dudes and say you're the only one that can eat it. Neil, it's great to see Joe. It shows how much you really care. Well, that's good to hear. KC, the only way we will be able to truly defeat the unconstitutional measures taken, we must convince the masses to buy into freedom. We need 51% plus of the population to combat tyranny. I would agree. Tim, dropping some knowledge. I try. The Instagram name, if you're asking me about the Firearm Freedom Instagram, it is just simply firearm_freedom. Firearm_freedom. And that is the Instagram account. We do live streams every morning of Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're looking to get on the Instagram account, firearm_freedom, live streams get a little bit more spicy over there, and those live streams are 8 a.m. Monday and Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, and we try to do daily posts, other things on there. But yeah, I'm fired up about this one, guys. It's frustrating to see, because it is always frustrating to see everybody like moving and thinking in a different direction, and nobody knows really what to do, and nobody knows where to go, and everybody has a different thought process, and that's what life is going to be. But it's frustrating to see that, and then to see the opposing side, see the tyranny that just flows through so swiftly and so decisively, and they hand down this stuff with like almost, like with this perfect plan that nobody can see until it's far too late. And that is what I see coming with ATF. That is what I see coming in regards to braces, in regards to everything else. So, again, I hope everybody can think of some type of solution. In Australia, people complied and handed everything in back in the 90s. U.S. younger generations missed out entirely. Now I'm in the U.S. and people want to do the same thing. Don't be Australia 2.0. Matt, preaching to the choir, my friend. I completely agree. I have some very close social media friends of mine that I've known since the starting of Firearm Freedom that are in Australia, and they say the exact same thing to me. They say the exact same thing to me. And I also, Neil, who's probably still watching this, you guys have probably seen him in the comment section, is in the UK, and he has said the same thing about in the UK as well. And mind you, Mind you, in those places, right, some people turned them in, but some people also chose the life of non-compliance, which, again, with the options that were given, do you turn them in the UK or do you keep them with a life of non-compliance? Trust me, I totally understand that. Obviously, that option B, do you just live the life of non-compliance, is the far better option to take. My point being, though, is that those countries still live under that tyrannical bullshit, and it's not going anywhere. So although that option allowed those individuals that chose that route to keep their items for a slightly longer period of time, the bigger overarching problem is that those laws are still into existence today. And what's happening, because you've now been forced to go taboo, because you've now been forced to go under the radar on this like weird black market setup, is that you are no longer able to educate the public, and these younger generations are now still growing up in these overarching, ridiculous, tyrannical laws, and they view that as their reality. They now view firearms even more down the road of, this is bad, this is not good, only evil people, only bad guys own guns. The same as they view, like I said earlier, drug dealers, whatever else today, because that is the different route, right? Look at this awesome dude who was 3D printing stuff in the UK or whatever else. There was a bunch of people sharing his article today, or his video today. I'm like, listen to this dude. I'm like, dude, this guy's preaching to the choir. He understands it. Everything that he was doing is basically, for the most part, what he was doing would be perfectly legal in the United States as of right now. Yet, while he is filming this video in the UK, he has to wear a ski mask. He has to blur out his voice. He looks the exact same as some of the drug lords that are on Vice being interviewed. And that's very, very unfortunate. That had that video been, 20, 30 years later, that would have been totally accepted. But now, in this current society, he is viewed as an evil individual just because, again, he's living that life of non-compliance. Now, that life of non-compliance allows him to still live somewhat freely to a point. It doesn't solve the overarching problem, and that is what I want to get the gears turning in your guys' mind about. So hopefully that makes sense. Took me 3 years to get a pump action. They are feral pest control. Yep, I'm sure. Exactly, those laws will never be removed now. Matt, again, preaching to the choir, you have to try to fight this stuff before that becomes a reality, because when it does, it's much harder to change moving forward. The only people who have firearms in the UK now are the criminals. Right. KC, we are blessed to be in the USA. We get to own weapons just because we want them. We can protect ourselves and have fun shooting them. I feel blessed. And KC, as you should. Unfortunately, we need to fight to get more of our freedoms back, because we've lost so much. We've lost so much. But guys, I hope this all made sense to you. We're right at the hour mark, and I hope this all came through right. The one thing about live streams is I can kind of ramble on a bit, and I never want to have something come out in the wrong way. So, again, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from, and I hope you guys understand that I believe literally every firearms law in existence right now in the United States, and in the world for that matter, should not exist. And I'm just trying to think outside the box to get your gears turning in your mind to try to formulate a solution to this ridiculous problem that we are seeing. And I hope it changes moving forward. I hope we can think of a solution moving forward. Guys, I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your Sunday evening, and I hope many of you guys can check out the links down below, comment down below. All of that stuff really, really helps me out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Mind you, I do also have a KS47 Gen 2 video finally coming out, hopefully tomorrow morning, and I should have a Streamlight video later in the week. this upcoming week as well. So stay tuned for that. I know you guys are enjoying the live streams, but I know that you also want to see some tabletop videos, and I am trying very, very hard to make that happen. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.